the dinner table, my wife's college junior threw an estimated cost sheet for a pregnancy right in front of my face. He announced that my wife was going to be his surrogate, and that I was expected to split the $30,000 bill for the medical fees and postpartum care. I stared at my wife in utter shock. I waited for her to tell me it was a sick joke. Instead, she slid her hand into his, looked me in the eye, and said, "I promised Julian I'd carry his baby. As my husband, it is your responsibility to split the cost. Don't try to dodge your duties." At that exact moment, it finally clicked. Our 9 years of marriage was nothing but a pathetic joke. Some people simply belonged in the trash. The moment our family sat down at the restaurant, my wife's junior, Julian, threw a printed sheet of paper directly at my face. He stood up, looking down at me with a smug, triumphant grin, like a rooster that had just won a fight. "Olivia has agreed to be my surrogate. The total cost from her pregnancy to postpartum care comes to $30,000. Let's split it down the middle." Silence fell over the dining table. My parents, who had just been happily raising their glasses to toast my in-laws, froze instantly. I stared at my wife, Olivia, in disbelief. I prayed she would tell me this was some twisted prank. We were married. We had been together for 9 years, living happily as dinks, and now she was going to carry another man's child, and I was the last to know? I couldn't believe this was real. But right in front of me, my wife was locking fingers with another man. Her eyes, when they met mine, were golden, completely detached. "Ethan, I'm getting pregnant. As my husband, you're obligated to share the expenses. Stop trying to run away from your responsibilities." Emboldened by Olivia's support, Julian gave me a mocking glare. Then, right in front of my face, he leaned in and kissed the corner of her lips. After that, he pulled out a printed contract. "Since Olivia is carrying my child, I have 3 ground rules. First, from this moment on, you will cater to Olivia's every need during the pregnancy until she successfully gives birth. Second, after she gives birth, she will stay at my place on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to bond with the baby. She will only come home on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You are not allowed to get jealous. Third, my child will be Olivia's sole heir and inherit all her assets. To protect the child's inheritance rights, you must go to the clinic and get a vasectomy." Listening to his ridiculous demands, my parents finally snapped out of their shock. My mother's face turned incredibly pale, and she couldn't hold back anymore. "What kind of madness is this?" She turned to my in-laws, "Mr. and Mrs. Vance, are you two just going to sit there and let this happen?" Julian sneered. "They've already approved of this." My in-laws had taken Julian in as an adopted son years ago. Hearing his words, the two of them smiled and nodded. "Yes, we've known about this for a while." My mother-in-law, Mrs. Vance, even turned to persuade me. "Ethan, you know Julian's late father was Olivia's mentor. His dying wish was for Julian to carry on the family line. Olivia is just helping him fulfill his father's last wish. You're an educated man. Surely you understand what it means to repay a life-changing debt." I let out a cold, humorless laugh. "Repaying a debt? Is that what you call this disgusting, trashy affair?" Olivia's face immediately darkened. "Ethan, this is a notification, not a negotiation. Julian is going to be the father of my child. If you speak to him like that again, don't blame me for getting ugly." I stared at her, completely appalled. "Olivia, say that again." She rolled her eyes at me, her face filled with sheer annoyance. "Ethan, I am trying to do a good deed. Can you stop being so incredibly petty and dramatic? Besides, Julian is highly educated and brilliant. His genes deserve to be passed down." "Good genes?" I laughed out loud. "By good genes, do you mean his natural talent for being a homewrecker?" Julian's eyes instantly welled up with tears. Olivia slammed her hands on the table, standing up to shield Julian behind her. "Julian comes from a family of academics. What does a small town